Gentlemen, please make some way.
10% of young people aspire to be politicians, 6% want to be musicians, 23% want to hold traditional jobs in engineering, law, medicine. And you seem to have achieved a lot in moving from becoming a musician, an activist, and now as a politician, although you don't like to be identified as one. What message do you learn from the legacy of Nelson Mandela, and what message would you share with young people to help them in terms of their aspirations?
Thank you so much, Irene. Lots of great things have been talked about Mandela, and I actually would have loved to add on a lot more things. But in the interest of time, I'll be brief and talk about only three. First of all, as young people, I think it's important for us to analyze what made Mandela great. You see, Mandela as a young man, he was an accomplished lawyer, he was a son of a chief, but he, together with his comrades, offered themselves for the cause of the country. In the face of injustice, like in their youthful days, they did not fold their hands and resign to apathy, but they looked injustice face to face in the eyes and found solutions. And indeed, they played their own role and registered some achievements. So I would wonder what President Mandela, or indeed Museveni, would be thinking if they were young men today. I think they would still... I think they would do the same. Secondly, you see, Nelson Mandela embodied almost all qualities of good leadership: democracy, unity, rule of law, and indeed he bore them at heart, not just in rhetoric, because we are looking at a leader who, after suffering in jail for 27 years, still did not have a sense of entitlement. He's a leader who became president and served only one term. And he saw it, that it was not about himself, but the nation. And indeed, he stepped down from the office of presidency and gave chance for the younger generations to take control and contribute to their country as the elderly leaders were offering guidance and advice. And I think still Nelson Mandela exhibited servant leadership. We can recall from his inaugural speech when he said, "I stand before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of the people."
Thank you.
So if I could conclude, please.
Thank you very much. I'd like to... okay, you can take 1 minute to conclude.
Thank you very much for my 1 minute. Yeah, I'll be very brief. That's a lesson for the young and old leaders. And finally, Mandela was talking to the South African youth sometime, and he's quoted to have said that sometimes it's upon a generation to be great. You can be that generation. So I want us to take a lesson as the young people of this generation to understand that every generation has had its challenges. For the Mandelas, it was apartheid. For the Nyereres and Nkrumahs, it was colonialism. For the Musevenis and his comrades, it was bad politics and instability. For us, it is unemployment, it is exclusion, and it is corruption and all those things. So we must rise to the occasion and play our part. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll open this up and take only 3 questions. Only 3 questions. I will not take more than 1 question to a panelist. And I'd like the first question to be directed to Professor Mamdan. I'll take 1 question from here, 1 question from the right, and 1 question from up. Okay, I'll take 1 bonus question from outside. Just 1. Whoever comes from outside first, I'll take that 1 bonus question. All right. There is a hand all the way at the back in the corner. Yes. Do we have microphones?
I was asked what we can do about our challenge, our generational challenge of uncertainty. Well, it has been said before that every generation must identify its cause, pursue it, or betray it. Now that we realize that one of our challenges is uncertainty, how do we pursue that cause? I think we get involved. We get involved well diagnosing our problem, knowing that as a population whose majority, around 80%, is under the age of 35, but when you look at the core decision makers, for example, our cabinet ministers, we're in the range of 70 years plus, then you realize that we are not involved. Let us get involved in the decision making, and straightforward to you, my fellow youth, I'm telling you, let's take office right from LC1 up to presidency. Let us. That is the only way we are going to be able to approach 21st century decisions with 21st century solutions.
Thank you, Honorable Chagulanyi. Honorable Deko?
I'll just speak to the question about uncertainty. I think that the message